Talk about, who's a baller, who's got the real chutzpah. The people who are able to die 1,000 deaths and become reborn 1,000 times are the real shot callers in this life. Those are the people who are able to navigate around some of those self-imposed societal landmines that really get in the way. When I hit the big time years ago, we did TV shows and all this stuff. I would say to the kids from the old neighborhood, "Hey, you're so smart, you're so talented. Come with me. There's room for you at the writer's table or somewhere in the production. Just take my hand. Just take my hand. There's room for you." They couldn't do it. They could not make that leap above 14th Street from the Village in New York. They couldn't do it because it would mean they'd have to change their identity. They'd have to change their limited perception of themselves. They saw themselves as a starving artist or a East Village cool person or whatever, but they were not able to morph into the next level. And that's where people, in my experience, that's where people get hung up. You have to be willing to die 1,000 deaths and become reborn 1,000 times. Because the truth of the matter is that you are God in drag. You are the manifestation of the power that created the whole universe. Playing small, like Samantha on Bewitched. And once you realize what you are capable of, how you're able to morph into whatever you want, really, that's the scary part. It's not, I think Marianne Williamson talks about this, it's not about being afraid of failing. It's more afraid of the possibilities of what you can do, And that kid, those kids in East Village who I said, "Just take my hand." I've seen it time and time again. You see it on our show, actually. On Drag Race, there's, I hope she doesn't see it, Nina Bonina Brown. I hope she don't come after me. But she, on our show, if you haven't seen it, Nina Bonina Brown is this very talented, gorgeous kid from Atlanta, Georgia, who always thought, she said, "Ru, these bitches are after me. They're after me." I'm like, "They ain't studying you, girl. They're trying to do their own thing." And you could not tell her that they were not after her, because that is how she motivated herself. And for her to not believe that anymore, she'd have to do that inventory, take some stuff off the shelf. She'd have to take a lot of stuff off the shelf. I've seen it myself, time and time again. That is why a daily practice, daily spiritual practice, the meditation where you can actually look at yourself and go, "Oh, yeah, that's me there. And I started over there. And I could pretty much see I can map out where this is going. And I could map out those obstacles that the same ones keep getting in my way. I know them. And that is the reason, I believe, in my opinion, that at this conference I went to, when I met certain people I looked up to, who were really, really smart, really, really creative. And I just assumed their experience was the same as mine, where they've done this and they'd go, "Oh, yeah, uh-huh. Oh, that's that thing my parents, what held my parents back right there." I thought they had done that same thing by going, move that, take that off the shelf. But they hadn't when it came to the gay thing, or the drag thing. I know it's a hard one. I mean, I went through that with my drag experience where I was shaving my chest. I thought, "You're becoming a woman before my very eyes." It's weird initially. But once you get past it, you're like, it's nothing. It's nothing. And the truth, the devil, that's nothing. That's all, whatever. I tell you what is dangerous. I tell you what, the concept of a devil is actually the devil being out there looking to get you. just like Nina Bonina Brown, the calls are coming from inside the house. That's dangerous. That's actually even more scary than something out there lurking that's going to try to get you. We've traced the calls, madam. They are coming from inside the house. Which is actually it's scarier. But it's scarier, but you have a better chance at knocking those things out when they come up. You know, in fact, I was telling a friend this yesterday. You know, yes, I've done the work, therapy, meditation, you know, the whole thing, whatever, I'll do it. But every morning I wake up, it's like my proverbial tail grows back. And I have to shave it down. I have to shave those old thoughts down. And that is what we're talking about. It's a daily practice. It's a daily practice. First of all, you start by giving yourself a break. When you're able to stand back, meditate, and see yourself, and you can see yourself as that little baby girl, little baby boy, you know where you came from, them crazy-ass country parents. You're able to give yourself a break and have compassion for yourself first. That's number one, compassion. Next, you look at it objectively and you understand how you began or how you started to think that way. Because it's thoughts. It's just thoughts. You know, you can't change the world, but you can change your mind. You can change your thoughts. And the practice of changing your thoughts starts with looking at that inventory. And as these things come up, you're able to push them to the side, take them off the shelf. That's the navigation, you know. That's the navigation. Actually, at this conference, I wanted to talk to these creative people. And I'm not going to name any names. Just know that they are the top of in this town, the tops. I wanted to run over and say, oh, hey, hi, how you doing? Oh, great, let's sit down and talk. Okay, what's going on with you? What are you doing? How did you do that? They weren't able to do that. I was getting, it wasn't necessarily shade. It was more of, they didn't know how to do with it. So their reaction was just sort of to, great. I was like, what? Yeah. It's weird, but it's cool. I get it. It's okay. Just not ready yet. But I'm ready. I'm ready. And I'm ready to do more. You know, when people talk about, you know, my career, you know, I climbed up on stage the first time for money. It was January of 1982. And I have been going ever since. And it's not always been easy. Like Mariah. It's not. No, it's not. It's not. Nothing's. Even if you do nothing on this planet, if you just sit there, it's not easy. It's never easy. So get that out of your mind. The work you do in this evolution, it's really all about the experience. It's the experience. Right, wrong, bad, good. It's just experience. There's no failing. You know, years ago, Alan Watts, the philosopher, became very popular again. He has this concept of, he said, what if before you go to bed at night, you got to choose what you would dream about? And you'd start off the first 2 months, you'd be like, oh, I want to be the king of the world. I want to be a princess, or I want to have $1 billion. I want a 10-inch candy bar. And then after 2 months, you'd be like, this is actually kind of boring. You know what? I want, dealer's choice. Make it random. Because in the morning, you knew that when you woke up, you'd be unchanged. Everything's fine. There's no death. You're fine. Boom. You're unchanged. Nothing can change you in this dream. And you would start doing this random thing. You would say, I don't care because I know I'm going to be unchanged. And then Alan Watts goes on to say, well, that's what this is. That's what you're doing right now. Do whatever you want, just so long as you don't hurt nobody else. Do whatever you want. You will be unchanged. So go above 14th Street. Do that inventory. Knock that stuff out. See what you are capable of. In these, I can't count, I think it's 35 years, 82, I don't know. 35 years maybe, something like that. I have had a lot of experiences. My mother tells the story that when she was pregnant with me, she went to see a psychic, and the psychic said, well, it's going to be a boy, and he's going to be famous. So I grew up knowing that, and I didn't know what I would be doing. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I just knew that's what I was going to do. The drag thing fell in my lap, and I thought, well, okay, I thought, in my mind, I thought I was going to be the next David Bowie. And then when the drag thing happened, I thought, okay, but when I get serious, I'm going to have to go back and do my David Bowie thing. Then one year, I think it was 1990 or something like that, I was doing some club dates in Atlanta, and I was doing my sort of androgyny thing, not really drag, but just sort of, And after the show, a friend came over and said, yeah, well, that was fun, Ru, but when are you going to do your drag thing again? And it occurred to me in that moment, because the universe always has stage direction for you. If you're open, if you clear up a place for it, the universe has stage direction for you. So this friend said, well, when are you going to do the drag thing again? In that moment, I got, what have I been knocking myself out? It's been right there all along. It's standing right in front of me. So I need to do the drag thing. And I swear to you, guys, as soon as I made that realization, it felt like these ancient doors were opening, went, all these years of show business, of trying to do, I'd made a breakthrough. The breakthrough didn't happen out here. Nina Bonina Brown. The breakthrough happened in here. It's an inside job. The key was me unlocking and clearing a path for my divinity, my frequency to come through. I had to clear a path for it. I had to clear out some of those old ideas. In my mind, I thought, where did I get the idea that I couldn't do it in drag? And I said, you know what? I'm done with my black hooker Soul Train dancer look. I am going to give these bitches glamazon. Yes. Yes. And the rest is history.